This is the ultimate fire starter. It's waterproof, stays alight in wind, burns for about 4 minutes, and it strikes like a match. And you can fit like 10 of them in an Altoids tin. You don't need any fancy materials. All you need is wax, matches, and cardboard, which I'm gonna guarantee like 99% of you already have. All you need are matches, some scrap cardboard, and wax. Just grab a candle. These fire starters fit great inside the matchbox the matches came in, or inside an Altoids tin. What I did with this one was I just took the striker pad off the side of a matchbox and hot glued it to the top of the tin. So it's a perfect little fire starter kit. Now, you can use regular sized matches, but I find that the larger kitchen matches work a little bit better, just because they're larger, they've got more stuff on them to burn. Larger ones work better, but you can use the smaller ones. Whichever ones you choose, go ahead and grab one and lay it out on your cardboard. And we're gonna use the match to measure how long to cut the cardboard. Lay it down so that the head of the match sticks over the edge of the cardboard on one side, and then mark where the match ends on the other side. We're gonna make a bunch of these, so go ahead and make a couple marks like this. Then take a ruler and trace across the bottom, and then cut along the line you just made to give us one long strip that is the perfect length. Grab you a ruler and go ahead and measure out, I think about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.25 inches. The exact size really doesn't matter. Go ahead and make marks every 1.5 inches all the way down. And then cut those strips out. Again, exact dimensions do not matter at all, just roughly this size. And one key thing, you want to make sure that you cut these in the right direction. Make sure that your corrugations are going vertical long ways so that you can stick a match in the hole made by those corrugations and push it all the way down, like so. All right, so go ahead, grab about 4 matches. Again, the exact number doesn't matter. You can experiment. I find 4 matches to be a good number. You can put 3 in there, you can put 5 in there. Doesn't really matter. Throw a match in every other corrugation. I'm using 4 matches. And you'll end with this. Since I want more than one fire starter, I'm gonna go ahead and make a bunch more of them real quick. I will give you one word of warning. Watch out for splinters as you're pushing these down inside, because splinters tend to get caught on the cardboard, and if they do, they will get shoved right into your finger. So be a little bit careful, because it doesn't feel good at all. These are so simple, we're almost done. The only thing left is to soak them and cover them in wax, and there's 2 ways of doing it. Number 1 is just to take a candle, like this candle, light it, and then carefully drip wax all over the fire starter. But this method is a bit time consuming because you have to wait for the wax to melt. It also doesn't completely impregnate the whole thing because, well, it's not submerged in it, you're just dripping wax onto it. So a better method is to actually melt a bowl of wax and completely submerge this into it. So while this method does work, it's not the fastest and it's not the best. So we're gonna give up and move to the next method. You're gonna need, for the complete submersion method, you're gonna need a lot of wax. So go and grab your mother's favorite pumpkin spice candle and set it into a pot on the stove. The only issue here, you can start heating it up like this, but we want to heat the wax evenly from all sides. So grab you some water and go ahead and fill the pot or pan with water so that the water itself will heat up surrounding the wax and then the wax will melt. This method is much faster once it's heated up. The only downside is it does take a while to completely melt all the wax. But once it is hot, making a huge batch of these fire starters goes really quick. I'll also start it because it smells good. And I'll burn some of the wax from the top. Delicious. Once your wax has melted completely, just grab your fire starter, dip it in, hold it there for a second to let it get good and impregnated. Then pull it out, let the excess drip off a little, and dip the other side. Then set it on something to cool down. Rinse and repeat with as many fire starters as you've got. So the reason you cover them with wax is so that they are waterproof. To demonstrate that, I'm just gonna drop this one in this bowl of water, make sure it's nice and submerged. If you did this with a regular match, it would not work. If you did this with a regular match or most kindling or fire starters, they would cease to work. But because we have completely soaked it in wax, all you gotta do is wring it off a little bit to get any drops of water off you can. Rub the top of the match heads, try to get some wax off to expose the match heads underneath, and then strike it just like you would a regular match. Now, if it is wet, it will take a little bit longer to get started and melt the wax. But once it starts melting the wax, that gas coming off the melted wax is flammable, and that is what's causing this to burn so vigorously. On top of that, obviously, the matches and cardboard itself is flammable, and this will burn like this for up to like 4 or 5 minutes. And it's not easy to put out either. In fact, let's see if we can blow it out, simulating wind with this fan. Look at that, that does not want to go out. Let's put it out completely in water here. Before we start building this fire, I'm gonna go ahead and throw our fire starters into this bowl of water to get nice and soaking wet. And let's build us a little fire here and give it a real world test. Go ahead and ring off our fire starter. All right. Get that wax melting. I will bet we'll only need one of them, because it will continue burning for probably 4 minutes, giving us a nice nucleus to build our fire around. The only other thing I want to do is test how long it actually will burn for. Easy. Ah. Yeah, it's still burning. I can still see it burning, and you can hear the wax melting under there. So I'll just light it up and then set it down, and we'll count how long. Get my stopwatch out, and we will come back to this in a moment. It's probably not gonna be able to come across on camera. Okay, that one burned for 3 minutes. A previous one I tested earlier burned for 4 minutes. There's probably a bit of range depending on how large the piece of cardboard was and how well it got soaked in the wax. Either way, that's pretty good for something made out of cardboard and matches. All right, well, there's you an awesome little fire starter hack. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Remember, let the random happen. See you next time. We can keep rolling. Yeah, it won't take very long. Ugh. It's gonna fall over immediately once it starts burning. And now I need to put this fire out somehow. Hooray!